Both players just dinked as they move in. Cheating Pixie beside them, 9th and 10th place, side by side, and more to follow behind.
Oh, and you've caught the attention of the team on height, bound to alert some of those teams that are also on the low ground with you. So Paco immediately looking to reorient his positioning. An excellent job of tarping forward here for his duo Japko, and these two will just barely manage to climb their way into a slightly better position than where they were at. As far as Lucia is concerned, alongside Steno, a little sneaky blink up here into a nice couple of shots. Those are the kinds of eliminations that you need in order to keep pushing yourself forward.
210 for Hen and Vasky. Hopefully these guys have enough to keep it rocking. Top slurps, they're moving. And they're looking good. Nice res from Hen. They still have to keep rolling though. Max zone pull, they've got the slurps to move, and they're gonna be on a little bit unstable footing. Hen though goes over, actually gets a little bit of pressure, distracts shot so Vasky can actually live. Now they're both side by side, more slurps to pop. They have to keep going though. Zone is still moving, they cannot stop at all right now. Paco and Japko also moving as fast as they can. Bill's in the way and nothing inside their tray in terms of putting more walls down on the floor. It's just them, absolute bare bones. Have to mine a rock to just have a little bit of cover. Paco, his dreams about to crumble. He needs to find something. Has to mine through again. You don't have time to look back. You have to just keep mining forward. Scared of anyone beside him. Big shot though. Paco's gonna be stopped again at 184. Refsguard and Tripper still uphill pattern, and it's just Refsguard now on the right side, and it's absolutely flubbed. This is just tough. 5 HP, slaps and missed, and no, 172 is where Refsguard stops.
And it's just not gonna be enough. Refs and Trip bound to already know their demise at this point, but the game's still going. The lobby is still popping for Giannis and Reason. They are just continuing to cycle through these high ground layers. Splash gonna come forward now as Vortex, Belusi doing what they can to keep catapulting themselves forward. Take some shots at Hen off to the side. Edits though, gonna be good for Vortex and Belusi. They maintain a decent spot here in the mid ground, but they want shots to connect. Hen finding an elimination actually in the process onto Steno. That's gonna be a pretty big shot there too for Hen to close on, given that he's in a solo situation, but he will be taken out almost immediately. The ultimate price to pay, but the points that he acquired in the process might just be enough.
Might just be enough for the moment, but there's still so much more to go. Vortex, Belusi still rocking in. 216, want to extend that lead as much as possible, want to be able to be in that qualifying range. All around, no builds, but they're making it look so good on all sides still. Vortex just living, trying to get as much placement as possible. Reason down, Janice down. Belusi popped before he died, it's all good. And now it's Vortex hitting even more, finally gone down. That's just tough. Now it's just the top 5 teams.
But Pablo, Bevvys, they need this. They need a victory royale given their position heading into game number 6. If they can close this one out, we might just find them with an upset in the leaderboards. But still so much teams to work through. Pixie gonna be able to find a nice elimination there onto Yarko. Cheat and will go down as well to Cry. And now Pixie left as a solo on the low ground, trying to see if he can move his way through some of these pre-existing builds. Eats a huge shot off to the side. Will be forced to run around, but Pablo, Bevvys, they've got height.
They're looking for it. This will be the win they need. Aiming for anything right now and jumping across to more builds. What a nice move from Pablo. They're gonna have to actually settle the difference themselves all the way here onto low ground. 2v1, no way they lose this one, right? We've seen it happen before today though for some teams. Big shots bleeding through builds as Bevvy alongside Pablo Wingu are looking good for now. The crunch finally comes in and Cry cannot survive a game 6 win for Bevvys and Pablo Wingu.
It's not even just the victory royale, but a relatively high amount of elims as well for Pablo and Bevvys. It's going to be a close one though, Shayo, because the math could potentially be mathing in their favor, but at the same time, things are just so close there for our top 9.
Absolutely, every single team taking shots on each other, taking out each other's duels as well, going down so close side by side. Point totals, I mean, who knows what they are now. There were too many surviving teams that did too well in that game. Big for Pablo Wingu and Bevvys to get their act together all the way in game 6 and make it such a good one. Then to be a bit higher on the boards, that is just good for the team. What a good victory royale. I mean, overall today, Taco, this has been an amazing last chance major to watch.
Yeah, EU certainly did not disappoint as far as the last chance major is concerned. Every single one of these teams putting it all on the line here today to try and find themselves in that top 9 of the leaderboards. And granted, top 3 heading into game 6, probably feeling pretty cozy, pretty confident. But for everybody else, basically a free-for-all.
Absolutely. That's been it, though, from Taco and me for the last chance major. Cool to see exactly who will be rocking over at Globals. As to who that is, Ian, Levin, and Takata have all the info.
Taco Shayo, thank you so much for providing the lyrics to what has been an epic last chance major. I don't think I've ever been more excited / anxious to see a leaderboard in my life. But before we get there, Pablo and Bevvys, Takata, they needed a strong performance on the last game of the day, and they delivered.
They got the victory royale, 208 points total for this duo. We can see how they closed it off here from the eliminations to the high ground retake to finishing it off in the end. But it just leaves us with that one question, Levin. Is it going to be enough?
Look, what I saw from this team in this game is what I'd wanted to see from them all day long. Just pure dominance, right? Aggression. And I think when they're in their element, they are a very, very fun team to watch. But again, is it going to be enough? That's the question we're all asking. I think looking at this game in isolation, it certainly is, you know, their style, right? That's how, if they're going to win games, it's going to be like that over and over again, rinse and repeat. So, yeah, I'm sure they will wish they could have done more of that. But again, fingers crossed they're going to that leaderboard.
We set the table at the start of the night. It is time now to reveal which of our 9 EU teams are going to Global Championships. For the final time this evening, let's take a look at the standings. We're all here on eggshells right now, and here's who's made it to the big dance, topping off the leaderboard, Vidil and Mr. Savage. And we've seen some serious movement here, Levin. Teams jumping up, some dropping down. What's your immediate thoughts seeing this list of 9?
Wow. Lucia and Steno making it in. They started the game in 10th place. They just needed to move up one, and it wasn't easy to do by any means, but they make it happen. Of course, Mr. Savage and Vidil on top. You know, that's what I wanted to see as a big fan of them, but, you know, that's neither here or there. All the players beneath that have managed to sneak their way in. Wow.
What a way to finish it off. Vidil and Mr. Savage leading the pack, though, in first place. This is what we were waiting for, Levin. Major 1, Major 2, Major 3, all the way to last chance. We have been waiting for this moment. They finally have got their early game situation overcome, overthrown, and that put them in the position to show what they are truly capable of. And it showed here today in the last chance qualifier with 321 points. First place, Vidil and Mr. Savage.
Look, it wouldn't be a global championships without Mr. Savage, baby. Come on, man. You know what it is. After coming one placement away in Major 2, he said, look, last chance major, I'm not playing no games. First place, that's all I'm about. No messing around. And the big question now, right, with Mr. Savage making it through, right, we've got the biggest EU name making it through. Clicks. What are you doing, bro? Come on,
where's that name?
Clicks, you know what I'm saying? The battle of the blondes right now. You know what I'm saying? Clicks, you see Mr. Savage do it, you got to make sure you step up as well, my brother. But look, staying on EU for just a moment, so many props to Mr. Savage, man. This is an EU FortNite legend. You have to put respect on his name. Every big event there is, Mr. Savage is going to be there. And he's going to do something.
Takata,
I don't know what it is, but he's going to do something.
You already know that there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of fans with huge smiles on their faces just to see this image right in front of us right now.
Guaranteed. I know the chat is screaming, let's go Savage, let's go Vidil. They are hyped. I'm hyped. The FortNite community is hyped. They really showed what they were capable of.
And it's not just them. You know, like, we saw teams that really had to deliver, and they did. So, and the ones that made it, of course, they had to show that high level of consistency. And if they weren't necessarily consistent at the beginning of the night, Levin, they switched it up and went up a few gears as we started to close things out.
Look, what some teams have done today is not easy at all, right? I look at Hen and Vasque and I go, a team that is newly formed, right? They've not played with each other before this. They had 1 day of practice, Ian. 1 day of practice. Vasque, not the most experienced player in the world, calling mid-game, early game, and Hen leading in the end game. A new formula, but a formula that has worked, and we'll see them playing at Copenhagen. So happy for those two.
I'm excited. I mean, sorry, Takata, to jump in. I just wanted to say, like, you alluded to it there. The fact that this is a fresh duo, Takata, and you never know which way that's going to go, right? It's like a fork in the road. It could go one way or the other. And luckily for these two, they created a bit of magic here tonight.
Right, it's like that honeymoon phase, right? When they just started playing together. It's been a success now as they've qualified, but you know, the good news is now they have a lot more time to prepare for the Global Championships. They are in October, so they've got a bit of time now to build that chemistry as a duo. So hopefully we see that work being put in and we see the success being shown at the Globals.
Yeah, and another name that we've mentioned a lot, Levin, Howley and his duo. These guys were on fire all day long, and they thoroughly deserved second place.
I hope Howley's gained a lot of fans today.
Yeah.
He is ice cold. Ice cold. That guy do not miss. You give him a chance to miss, he's not taking it.
No.
He only wants to hit shots. That's all he does.
Literally. I mean, they looked unstoppable. From the solo clutch, which kind of lit that spark inside of Howley, to the chemistry built in the further matches. This duo were on a rampage basically the whole tournament and finishing in the top end of the leaderboard. They are some big names going to Globals.
Yeah, that's part of the fun, isn't it, Levin? Is, you know, for people watching at home, of course, you've got the big hitters, and like you said, you've got to hope that these players now have built a bit of a following who now have eyeballs on them going into GC and building a bit of a fan base. That's part of the process, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's all about that. A lot of these guys, they will be on top of the world right now. It will be the happiest Sunday they've had in a long time. I'll tell you that much. Look, I don't want to be a party pooper, though. I don't want to be a party pooper, but it is my job. It is my job to remind everybody. Although these guys have qualified, it's going to be harder for them than it will be for everybody else. They're going to start in that lower bracket at Globals, right? So as much as these guys have done great to make it, again, they can't get too high on the feeling of, we've made it, nah, everything's great. Got to be on point. You've got to put in the work going into Globals.
Classic Levin, the old party pooper. Let's talk about third place. Kaizen and Clement, I mean, towards the back end in particular, Takata, they really started to find their form.
Yeah, I mean, this duo was on top of the world for a good part of this tournament in the first place spot. They were playing incredibly consistent. We didn't see a huge match come out from this duo, but consistency is what that got them to that top part of the leaderboard, and also chemistry, playing it out with the mindset of, I mean, you talked about it, Levin, going through the late game, 180, big shot. I mean, you know that they were able to do it.
Yeah, these guys are fun to watch, man. These guys are very fun to watch. I felt like when their backs were against the wall, they still managed to come up with the goods. And that's a sign of a very good team. It's a sign of an experienced team, which is what they are. Clement's been around for ages, so many grand finals appearances, not new to high-stakes situations at all.
It's cool because to make it, regardless of being in the lower bracket, all you want is that slot. All you want is that position. And let's be honest, if you're willing to go right down to the wire to make it, well, obviously not willing, you don't necessarily get into the last chance major by choice. But if you're willing to take that route and you get there, a lower bracket, Levin, I'm going to be unfazed by that.
Look, all they need is a chance at the end of the day. All they need is a chance. And look where we are today. It is literally the last chance. And they've shown that when given a chance, they will take it, right? So I would not be surprised if some of these teams here are the teams making big waves when it comes time for global championships, you know, on Championship Sunday there, because there is serious talent here. There are some big brains here. And overall, I think the showings we've seen here, like some of these lobbies looks more difficult than some of the grand finals that we've seen at times, right? So, you know, these games weren't easy by any means.
Yeah, Takata, I just want to say commiserations as well, of course, to some of the teams that came agonizingly close. For some of them, you know, it's back to the drawing board, but ultimately there was 50 duos involved in this and only 9 spots available. So you're going to beat yourself up a little bit, but at the same time, you don't have to spend all night looking in the mirror saying what could have been. You can get right back on the saddle when the next piece of tournament comes your way.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredibly difficult. Even our Game 6 winners, Pablo and Bevvys, from being contested in Major 3 Grands to now being on just the borderline of qualifying in top 9. It can be a bit heartbreaking, but also motivating at the same time. I know that duos like Pablo and Bevvys have potential, have what it takes to make it, and hopefully